Hello and welcome back to the channel. This week I thought I'd update you on what I've been working on. So as I'm working towards the NGS open garden scheme, what I've decided to do is to do a suggested route around my garden. This is mainly because last year there was like a large amount of people around the patio area, and the flow of how people were moving through the garden meant that people were kind of bumping into each other, kind of going up the path and down the path and everything like that. So I thought this time what I will do is I will have arrows in particular points in the garden with a suggested route. So in order to actually achieve this, I'm going to have to make two changes to the garden. One I've already made, which I'll show you in just a second, and the other one is where my lawn and my front garden kind of goes close to the drive. I've decided to install a rose arch there, which will enable access from the driveway onto the main lawn and up through the front garden on there. So I'll show you those just in a second. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click the like button, because this helps to get this content out to more followers like yourselves. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at the front garden first. This is the very front of my garden here, and in this particular location around about here is where I have the kind of little ticket booth area for the open day. That's where people will buy their tickets. Now, what I was explaining about the flow of things is, potentially as it is at the moment, people have to work their way up the drive there and then round in past the knot garden, down and around and out that way. So what I've decided to do is, this area here is kind of a point in which obviously the lawn, as you can see, the lawn here almost meets the driveway. Now, for logistical reasons, I have a little bit of patch of grass out to the front of my house here, which I do have to mow occasionally. And to kind of get the mower round, I have to go all the way up the garden and round on there. So by opening up this section, it will enable easier access. The other thing that I quite often have to do as a gardening task down here is running the hose pipe down to this lower kind of woodland section at the front here. It does dry out quite a lot, so although there is some drip irrigation, every so often I just put the sprinkler on for an hour or a couple of hours or something and give it a really good soak, and then that really helps for a couple of months. So what I thought in this section here is, looking at my options, I have these Lonicera balls every so often going all the way up the drive, and they're equally kind of spaced. So what I didn't want to do is put a second ball in this location here, because although that would make a nice entrance into the lawn, it's going to look odd with all the other sections. The other thing that is a little bit sort of weird really is, I have these syringiums which are located kind of here, and over in this section there's some little red robins, and they alternate all the way down the side of the drive there. And of course, by doing anything too much with this, it's going to disrupt that flow. So yeah, my best kind of course of action really is to add in a rose arch into this area here. So that will create the walkway. I can then leave some syringiums this side and this side, which kind of match the rest of the theme, and it will create a new entranceway which will go straight onto the lawn here, and it can lead obviously to the seating area there, or you can work your way up towards the house at the front. So looking at it from the other angle, if I spin around there, so it will also add height into this area, because this area at the moment is very flat, and this is obviously going to grow quite a lot bigger in the coming years. So it will also help me, because I do actually have some Halloween parties each year, where I open the garden again for charity, and people walk round and there's lots of spooky stuff out. So that will also create the entrance on there, which could be the entrance way to the cemetery kind of section of the Halloween display. So it solves quite a lot of issues, because at the moment this area is semi-blocked off, apart from the fact I can kind of walk through this tiny section here. So it will make it much more versatile as an area. And the plan is I've ordered a black metal rose arch, which is exactly the same as the one I've got in the back garden, so I know it's of good quality and everything. And the plan for that is to grow a climber over the top of it, just to soften it all. So that's the first change, really. So let's go and have a look at the next change. Okay, so basically when people first come into the garden, they effectively, this is the first thing that they see. So this is set up as the wow factor on there, with the positioning of all the plants and with the seating area here. Now, last year I found that I had about 160 guests for the NGS, and people were wandering around in all these sections. A little bit of a pinch point here. The bar area over here is where we serve the tea and cake on there. And of course I've got my walkway that goes up to the spa area. So looking at the flow of things, I thought the best way to do this is to, people walk up to this section. Actually, let's go back a second here. So people come into this section and I'm going to have an arrow that directs them this way. So they can then enter the main part of the garden. They will then go through, this is the rose arch, which is going to be the same as the one at the front. They go through into the fire pit area, the jungle area in here. And then they can explore the whole lot of this area at their leisure. And the chicken area to the left there. And I'm going to have a sign here which will say probably suggested route going this way. They can then go through to this area here. So this is the kind of the working area with the potting area and the greenhouse and everything like that. And then the plan will be to take people down here. And this is what I've been working on. So I put a row of blocks along the bottom there and leveled up the soil. This then takes them round the back of the hot tub area. Then you kind of go through the gate here, and then people will essentially arrive in front of the log cabin, so they can explore in here. They can look at the view across the back here, and then they can make their way down this way. Obviously the sprinkler won't be out at the time, and then they can basically enjoy their tea and cakes on the patio area. So yeah, that change behind the back hedge, now that's always existed on there because I use that to maintain the height of the back hedge and to trim everything back away from the back there. So it's mainly there as a kind of service area for me, but I have opened that up before for Halloween parties, and that's been a kind of themed area of like an old mine shaft and all kinds of things there. But yeah, that's how the route of the National Garden scheme will now work, with that upgraded section at the back. And I'm pretty sure that that is going to really help with the flow of the event. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.